Hello everybody and welcome to another episode of Bungle Collects. So this is a follow-up video to a video that I did on how to clean coins. And if you've seen that video, you will recognise this coin. So this is a wrestling coin that we found on a £2,000 50p mega coin hunt. It was in really bad condition. You'll see now on screen what it looked like before I had a go at cleaning it up. So I had 4 attempts at cleaning it up with this stuff, Auto Sol metal polish. And it did a reasonable job. However, I'm going to try something different to see if I can get the rest of the muck off. And also, I did a little bit of research afterwards. The coin's got a kind of tinge of red on it. Don't know whether you can see that. And it may well be because of that actual polish that we use. So for coins in this condition, which I think's been in a well or a fountain, certainly underwater, from the research that I've done afterwards, does suggest that the polish, metal polish, can turn it that red colour. So I'm going to try something different and see whether I can get it up. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to stick it in this tub. But before I do that, I'm going to fill the tub with vinegar. So I've got some common garden vinegar. There we go. And a little bit of salt. Not really sure how much salt to put in, but I'm going to go for a good whack. Why not? So there we go. So there's some vinegar and salt. That will hopefully dissolve pretty quick, the salt in there. And I'm putting the coin in. So that's it. That's all I'm going to do. So I'm going to leave it half an hour and see how it looks in half an hour's time. And then I'm going to leave it overnight and possibly even for a couple of days as well and see whether the vinegar and salt trick does anything. Right, so we're back. It's 45 minutes later. So all I did was I swirled around the vinegar for about 30 seconds till all the salt dissolved and then left it for 45 minutes. Absolutely stinks in here now. So let's see what is the vinegar going to make any difference. Does it look any different there? I have had to put the light on because it's got a little bit dark since I started. Is that a bit lighter? You know, I think it is. Let's give it a little bit of a scrub with a toothbrush. See if that makes any difference at all. So the toothbrush I'm using, just a kiddie's little toothbrush. Bristles are not rock hard, they're quite soft because I didn't want to damage the coin too much by using a really hard toothbrush, but of course it needs to be hard enough that it's going to make some kind of difference. Yeah, I think that's working, you know. Let's have a little go at the back. See whether the back makes any difference, because the back's going to be a real challenge. I can't see the back having any significant difference. It's still got that red tinge to it. I think have a few bits come off. Like here, for example. I don't think them white spots were there before. A little bit around the mouth there. So it could be doing something, you know, the old vinegar trick. Just give it a little bit of rub with this paper towel. Getting there, you know. I really do think that's a lot lighter than it was before it was dipped in vinegar for 45 minutes. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to put it back in. Back in the salt and vinegar mix. And I'm going to leave that for 12 hours and we'll see what that's like in the morning. So there we go. And I'll see you in the morning. Right, so we're 12 hours in, been in the solution for 12 hours. Definitely think it's turned a different colour. The vinegar's a slightly lighter colour. And if I swish that around there, you can see some gunk coming off the coin. So I'm quite interested to see what 12 hours of vinegar's done to it. So there's the front of the coin, possibly a little lighter. That one looks almost green, so it's got like a green tinge to it. So hopefully once I get the brush on that green stuff is the muck that's lifted off with the vinegar. I can definitely see some lighter bits. So yeah, looking forward to giving this a scrub. Definitely getting somewhere there. The coin has got an element now of being grey or silver. Still got this red. I don't know why. I don't know why it's red, but there's quite a lot around here and down there and around there. So I really don't know why that's turned red. Still got a little bit of gunk there, so it might need a little bit longer in the vinegar. I've still got some gunk here, but it was all like that. It was all that colour before we started. So yeah, it's looking all right. That's a bit dull, mind. So I wonder whether a bit longer in the vinegar and some more auto sol to try and buff that up, perhaps. Not sure. Give it a little bit of a buff with a cloth. See whether any muck comes off with this. So the answer to the cloth is not much. So if you compare it, if you've seen the previous video with the auto sol, loads and loads comes off. And this, not so much. So quite a bit's come off on the brush when I've been scrubbing it. Okay, so it's definitely getting somewhere near the right colour of the coin now. Looks a lot better than it did before we started. So I'm going to do two things. I'm going to give it another bash with the auto sol just to see whether that side gets buffed up or shiny enough, because I'm interested to see whether more of this silver colour will come through. You can see that that's the original part of the coin here and a little bit in there. So I'm interested to see whether now that grind's come off with the vinegar, whether the metal polish will help. And if it doesn't, or probably regardless, I'm going to put it back in vinegar, but I'm going to put it back in for 3 days. So we're going up to Loch Ness for 3 days, well 2 days, it'll be 3 days in total with the travelling. We're on our A to Z adventures. If you haven't seen them, we travel around the UK and we visit all the sites around the UK that feature on the A to Z 10p coins. So there's an A to Z letter on each of the 10p coins from 2018 and 19, and we're visiting all them places and doing a video on them. So we're going to be away for say 2 or 3 days, so I'm going to leave it in vinegar. I might ruin it, it might be the worst thing to do, but I'm committed now. So I'm going to try auto sol, I'm going to put some on and leave it on for 5 minutes and see how it looks in 5 minutes time, and then I'll dip it back in some vinegar. So let's see what it looks like in a few minutes. Okay, so for the second video in a row, I forgot to press record. So this coin is looking much better now. What I did, I left it in auto sol for 10 minutes. So this is 10 minutes later and a buff later. So here's the cloth. See, unfortunately, I did record what I did and the rubbing of it and how much grime came off it. But I didn't press the button, so I didn't really record it. But as you can see, the results are pretty good. You can definitely see the fact that it's wrestling now. So I'm really pleased with that. You can see the definition of this second fighter. So there's the person's head there, arm, they're upside down. There's their legs, and here, legs and feet. So there's definitely some definition. The 2012's clearer. We've got some silver parts coming through here and there, and even a little bit there. So it's definitely in much better condition than it was before we started. And the vinegar and another layer of auto sol has certainly helped. Still got this reddish tinge here. If we have a look on the front, on the Queen side, that doesn't look a great deal better. It definitely is better. You can see the IRB portrait down there, and so you can see a little bit of this kind of silver coming through and some of the writing. So it definitely has helped, but I feel that this side might be beyond repair. So no, I'm pleased with that one. So what we're going to do now is I made another solution of vinegar. So a fresh solution of vinegar with some salt, put some salt in, swirled it round for 30 seconds till it dissolved, and I'm going to leave this coin in there for 3 days. So that might be the best we ever get it. It might be even, might be worse than it is now after 3 days of vinegar. But hey ho, we're committed now. I'm keen to see whether we can lift off some of it, especially some of this muck around this side. It'd be great to be able to see the feet on that, to fully see the second foot on that wrestler. And if we can see the Queen's portrait a bit nicer, that'd be nice as well. So yeah, this might be the best we see of the coin. Let's see where we are in 3 days. Right, so it's a few days later, and things have gone a little bit wrong. Now, unfortunately, I wanted to leave this in here for 3 days, and due to one thing or another, it's actually been in the vinegar for 4.5 days. So it's been in a baking hot conservatory for at least 2 or 3 of the hottest days of the year so far. And as you can probably see, the vinegar is completely gone. Everything's hardened up. The coin is encrusted in it, and it certainly looks worse than it did before. One interesting thing out of it is these little crystals these are formed, these squares. They're quite cool. Whether it's the salt that was in the vinegar reformed into squares or what, I haven't got a clue. So that's quite interesting. And then if I turn it over, you can see the obverse of the coin, the front of the coin, which certainly doesn't look any better than it did before I put it in there. And some of this green stuff has kind of seeped underneath it. So yeah, I might have ruined this. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to run this under some hot soapy water just to see if I can get some of the gunk off. Because yeah, I think it needs a physical clean, I think, before I try and do anything with it. Yeah, that doesn't do anything on. That's just crusted on. So I'm going to go and give it a clean with some, say, hot soapy water. Okay, and there it is, out of the vinegar. So as you'll agree, I'm an absolute genius. Now I'm only kidding. That was another one. So this is it. So all I've done is I've just rubbed it off with hot soapy water, got all the green stuff off, and I think that's success. I think that's in better nick than it was before it went into the vinegar for its 4.5 days. The reverse isn't so good, but I think it is better. So I'm really going to have another go with the auto sol. I think I'll just leave the vinegar for now. I would really like to get these green bits off, and that green bit there. I think if I can get them off, I think I'll be happy. This red stuff has come off, mind. This was all around here from what I remember. So some of this red stuff has come off. So and this is definitely better. But again, I think if I can get the green, these greeny patches, I'll be happy with that, I think. So I'm gonna have another buff with the auto sol, see if I can get it to somewhere near the condition of this other wrestling that I've got. I don't think it's ever going to recover to that. Even the picture on the reverse there, I think the definition is not going to be there, although you can definitely see it's wrestling. Right, bit more auto sol and see where we go. Okay, so that's had a chance just to dry a little bit, to interact a little bit with the metal on the coin, and I'm going to scrub. I'm going a little bit brutal, a little bit more abrasive. I've been quite gentle with the cloth up till now, but I think in for a penny, in for a pound. I shouldn't have really left it in vinegar for 4.5 days because I haven't got a lot to lose at this stage. I'm going to give it a little scrub with this. The bristles, they're not rock hard, they're not totally soft, so hopefully somewhere in between might help. So I really want that rounding bit of green off this corner, if I possibly can. And maybe a little bit more of that red off the other side when I get to it. Right, that's a good scrub. And like I say, I really would not recommend that you use a toothbrush, that you scrub it so abrasively, but I just feel as though I've gone past the point of no return. 4.5 days in vinegar gives me a bit of license to be a little bit more rough with it. So let's see whether it's made any difference. Okay, so there we are after another go of the auto sol. Getting a little bit dark. I've turned the lights on just so we can see a little bit easier, so we're not totally in natural light. But I think that's another improvement. Certainly better than when we started off. Still got this bit of green here, so maybe that's there to stay. Still got a little bit of red there, but we've definitely got the definition now of the wrestler. Definitely see the feet. There's the 2 feet and legs, body and arm. There's the head upside down. Then you've got the other person's legs here and going that way. So we've definitely got some definition. You can see that that's 2 people wrestling on this kind of mat here, and I think this might be the crowd or something on the roof of the stadium. So what is the 2012 Olympics logo there. So yeah, I think I'm pleased with that. I think we're going to consider that a success. Let's have another little bash on the back, because I haven't done anything with the back, the front, the other side of it yet. Let's see whether we can do a little bit more with that. See if we get some of the green or the yellow off, or the red off, sorry. So put some more auto sol on, leave it for 5 minutes and see what happens. So now that's had a little bit of time to interact, I can see there's already a bit of a colour change. I've gone a little bit bluey greeny around where the paste is hitting the coin. So there, look. See, it's kind of going a slightly different colour. So I'm going to be a little bit abrasive again with the toothbrush, just because this side is really bad. It really is full of red marks and a green mark. So I'm going to give this just a little bit of jip. The worry is with being so abrasive with it, and I suppose putting it into the vinegar, because the vinegar will react, putting it in with this polish, is that it'll take, if it hasn't already, the top layer of the coin off. So if there's nothing to polish up, then I might be defeating the object. Oh, that's definitely better. That is definitely better. It's definitely less red, or it seems that way anyway. You guys will be able to see some of the pictures as we go along. Obviously I can't see the pictures, I won't see the befores until I'm actually editing this video, but I think that looks brighter, and looks though quite a bit of the green has come off. Did have a little bit of a theory of why the coin might be red, and also how it maybe originally ended up so black. So if it was a metal detecting find, so someone had put a comment on the previous video to say were the coins, because I got a lot of coins that were black, that were really discoloured in a 50p hunt that we did. And one of the theories was that they were all metal detecting finds, so they'd been on a beach. And sometimes the sand can be red, have a red tinge to it. Sometimes it can have a black tinge to it. So it was maybe the sand that turned it a slightly different colour. Well, no slightly about it. So nah, I think that looks much better. Certainly better than when it started out. No two ways about it. So I tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to give it one more night in vinegar. Oh yeah, I'm going to give it another 12 hours, just so you can get a little bit more this green off here. It'd be really nice if we just get even of this blackness here. It'd be really nice if I could get that just a little bit better. I mean, imagine we get this red off as well. But living the dream there. If this coin, if them two blobs and this reddy part around here comes off, then I suppose it's quite dark there as well. Although, what more do I want compared to how it started? Now I'm going to give it another 12 hours, 12 more hours in vinegar, and one more buff up, and then we'll see where we are after that. Right, so another tub, another lashing of vinegar, dash of salt, give it a swirl around until the salt disappears. So let's just see where we are in the morning. Okay, so we're 16 hours on from when I last put it in vinegar. Feels as though it's taken a bit of a backward step, but I'm not too sure whether there's a little bit of a cycle or a pattern to this. So before I take out the vinegar, see whether you can see the dark patches. So there's one there, one there, one there, and a couple above, as well as them two green splodges here. So I just wonder whether the vinegar kind of clings on to them bad patches, the darker patches, and then by scrubbing it off and then buffing it up with the auto sol, maybe that's the pattern. Because I think when I take this coin out now, this is going to look worse than when I put it in, because the vinegar has clung to them patches. So is it going to come off? Let's see. I hope so. So it looks a little duller. The whole coin itself looks a kind of little duller, like a darker grey. And yeah, definitely the bad parts, so here and there, have come up. Although previously the bad parts covered all of this all the way around there. So I wonder whether it is just a process. So I'm going to dry this off, See if I can give it a rub with the cloth, see if anything comes off, and if not, I'm going to put some auto sol back on and give it a buff again. Can't tell whether that looks any different to before I put it in. I'll put some photographs up though, I'm sure. So a little dry with a cloth, with a paper towel, and a rub with the toothbrush. These have made no difference, nothing's come off. So maybe it is just that auto sol on there. Now the vinegar's lifted, hopefully the vinegar's got in and lifted it. Hopefully the auto sol might take it off. Let's try. I just hope it's better than, I hope it gets better than this, because it looked better. It was better than this before I put it in last night. So I don't know whether I've just stumbled across this really, but I decided to use the cotton buds, just because they're quite hard. They're made of paper. I see the cotton on the end. So I'll just show you so see what, because they're quite hard, so I can give it a rub, but it's flat. I can rub it vigorously, but it's flat as well. So it's maybe is it better than the toothbrush? It certainly gets some muck off, because you'll see, I'm sure, even this with I've already had a couple of goes and I haven't put any more auto sol on. I still bet there's some muck on the end of this cotton bud when I bring it up to the camera. Look at that. So is this the way forward, or I just need to keep scrubbing with this? Let's give it a go. Another thing I've noticed there, that no matter how much muck I get off, it seems that some of the redness comes back. So it looks as though it goes for a bit, and then I put a bit more on, whether you can see it here. It's like a little bit of, still that little bit of red there. It's quite hard to see on the camera, but here. So it's like a little bit more up here. So if I clean it to a point where the red goes, and if I keep going, it then brings the red back up again. Very strange. I'll give it a normal kind of buff up. I think so. I'll put it on and leave it for 5 minutes, and I'll give it a buff with a cloth, because the whole coin's a little bit darker now. And I've been rubbing some of the muck that's come off one part of the coin. I've kind of rubbed it round. So I'll leave that on just for 5 minutes. We'll see how it looks. Okay, let's give it a buff. So I can still see that red. So have I made it worse by putting it back in vinegar and bringing this red out again? I'm just really not sure. Really not sure. I'll keep trying on these red bits. Right, I think I'm going to call it there. I think that's the best that I'm going to get it. So I've given it plenty of jip with the toothbrush, scrubbed in some more auto sol, and then took it off again, scrubbed it in again, did about 3 or 4 times, give about another, probably done it for about 10 to 12 minutes in total, and then buffed it off and put it back on again. So I'm pleased with that. I haven't got all of the red off, but I think that's about the best I'm ever going to get it. So you'll see, let's see some comparisons. So I'll put on the screen now how it started off in the previous video. And then we'll have a look at a couple of the cleaning stages of where it was at the start of this video, and then a couple of stages in between, including the one just before this one, the one that I did yesterday or last night. And hopefully you'll be able to see the difference and the effort that's it's been worth the effort that's gone in. How much effort have I put in? I reckon probably about an hour in total. So it's been in dribs and drabs. Obviously it's been in vinegar for days, so it's been in vinegar in between, but actually scrubbing and buffing, probably about an hour maximum, I think. Obviously it's had loads and loads of different layers on it. So yeah, I'm sure you'll agree it's worth doing. Certainly better than it was. Quick look at the front, the Queen side, the obverse. Yeah, I'm not going to do any more on that one. It was always a tall order. You'll see on the screen what it looks like before I started, and then a couple of stages in between, and I don't think it's worth spending any more time on it. That's the best it's going to be, and it was all about this side, trying to make it so that you could see that it was indeed a wrestling coin, and it is. We've got all that definition back. Look, definitely see both feet, legs, body, head, got the mat, everything looks so much better than it did before it started off. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up, and please do leave some comments in the comments below this video. Let me know what you think of the cleaning process. If you got any tips of how I can improve it, let us know what you think of the entire video and how the coin looks now compared to how it started. If you like coins and coin hunts, please do have a look at some of the videos that are on screen now, and subscribe to the channel if you will. It really helps us out. Really appreciate it. And yeah, take a look, see what else we do in relation to looking for rare and valuable coins. Right, thank you very much for watching, and we'll see you in the next episode.